Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Hidden Flame here, and I first want to start off by saying thank you. The last video had gotten a lot of good um, response, and this one is going to be a little touch and go since, from what I've noticed, Final Fantasy VII fans are almost like a religious cult. You say one bad thing about the game, and you are disowned from the internet. So I hope I don't offend anybody when doing this. So first again, like I said, I want to thank you all for the last video. I apologize for the distance between the last video and this video. These are not easy to make, and it takes a lot of research. And since people say it's undoable, well, I'm going to prove them wrong. So a lot of research is being done, and yeah, let us start. Okay, so let's get the big elephant out of the room first. As I mentioned, I'm going to be connecting the games. Now, some people have thought that I will be connecting one game to another. Now, I'm connecting them all. So, the elephant I'm talking about is Final Fantasy X to Final Fantasy VII. So, let me just explain what I'm about to do. So, Shinra himself, the Albed Whiz Kid, had a conversation with Yuna, Brother, and Buddy on their airship about the far plane and that its energy can be used, as power. And, I'll just read it off for you. The conversation starts off with Yuna approaching Shinra when he's looking at something, and she says, "What are you looking at?" And he goes, "Far plane data. The more I study it, the more fascinating it gets. There is limitless energy swirling around in there." Yuna will then repeat limitless energy, and Shinra says, "The life force that flows through our planet, I think. With a little work, we could probably extract this energy in a usable form. Of course, it will take generations." Then Yuna replies, "Think of how much Sparrow would change if we got it to work. Maybe one day we could have a city full of light that never sleeps." And Shinra says, "No doubt about it." Now, in this timeline, uh, Yuna is expecting Xanarkand. What she in fact gets is Midgar. This isn't the only conversation that is mentions this limitless energy interpretation. There is a conversation with Rin and YRP, Riku and Pain, that goes into detail regarding a certain event that happens in the game. But Ren says, "We are researching ways to extract the vast energy that sleeps in Spira and use it to power Machina." But again, this is all just speculation, seeing as how, when interviewed about this little plug, it has never been confirmed, but it's never been denied. So until someone shows me proof that it is confirmed, that the developers of the game, of both games, says, yes, that is true, this is still a theory, and it's going in my timeline here. So, now to the point where you guys have come to see if I can connect Final Fantasy VI to Final Fantasy VII. Now, this one wasn't as easy as I thought it would be. When I first thought of the theory, I had only thought about the summons or the espers. Now, in 6, as I mentioned, the only way to get magic is through the espers, by junctioning or equipping themselves to you and learning what you can from them before you discard them and move them and equip another one, just to gain your magical abilities. But so we'll start with that one. So in the 6, you get the espers, and you're only allowed one per game. So you only have one Shiva, one Ifrit, one Bahamut, one carbuncle, one doom train. Actually, I don't think doom train's one. Sorry. Uh, but there is the same thing for Final Fantasy VII. In the game, you find through your travels these summons. Now, they're not as strong as they were in 6, so you could say that they have been weakened or that their power is fading. Uh, just like in 10 with the spheres, the older they get, the more they deteriorate. Now, I know someone's going to ask in the comments, what about cure and fire and lightning and double cast and all that? Well, personally, I have a set of theories on this one. As I just mentioned, the spheres from Spira. Now, why can't you say that the spheres that they have found over time, the dress spheres, the magic spheres, the attack spheres, what if they evolved over time? What if, say, the magic up spheres or the uh, like the sphere grid, for example, what if those passed down? What if they were found? That one is more far fetched than my other one, but it is an idea. Like the dress spheres. There's a black mage, a white mage, a knight, a thief. In 7, there's, well, the fire, ice, and lightning. There is the cure spell, the insana spell. There is the mug spell. I could be part of the thief sphere grid. So what if these sphere grids just broke and became the sphere? Then the second idea I had comes with in 7, as the Mako reactors are uh, draining the world of its uh, life stream, then what if the byproduct are these Materias? And since the Shinra Corporation only cares about the Mako energy, they discard this byproduct to vendors and who sell them for what they truly are, spells. When it comes to figuring out what spell is what, it all just depends on the crystallized Mako that is given to these vendors. Some could be red, some could be blue, some could be purple. It all just depends on what is given. So the vendors will clean them up, turn them into spheres, sell them at a decent price to those who need them. But it's up to the vendors themselves to test it to see what it is. Should it be a fire spell? Should it be a cure spell? And it is up to the vendors themselves to sell them at what they like. But I digress. The point I was trying to make is each cluster of discarded waste or crystallized Mako is what is materia. And I think it is, since it doesn't really explain it. As there are places in the game, like near Nibelheim, where there is a crystallized Mako, uh, which they call a pure materia. So they really don't go much into this one, so it is up to you to really decide. Now, the next major point outside of the materia and the magic is the world itself. If you played 6 and you know at the end of it you have Kefka's destroyed world, everything is under his control, everything is in ruins, uh, all of your friends don't know who they are, towns are in disarray. Well, in Final Fantasy VII, things are pretty much the same way. Midgar is pretty much a mining town. All the other towns are pretty much under Shinra rule. Everything is dystopian. Things are run down, rusted, and everything is pretty much running on this new Mako energy, which is pretty much bleeding the world dry. Now, why I think this connects to 6 is pretty much the same way. In 6, everything was just all machines. There was no magic unless it's given to you. There is everything is simpler, but it's more industrialized. You can't get anywhere without running into a machine or without running into some kind of energy source trying to destroy the world while it's trying to help the world, if that makes any sense. Now, my final point towards all this comes to the end of 7. There is a fight between the meteor and the life stream. Well, while it's not really a fight per se, the meteor hits and the life stream comes out to stop it. It took me a bunch of researching to figure out what's happening here, but it is the world itself summoning the Omega weapon to stop the meteor. Now, if you go deep into the lore, you will know that this means the end of the world. Omega weapon comes out, destroys whatever is killing the world, and if that be the meteor, that be the people, it is supposed to destroy all life on the planet, and the life stream is supposed to leave the planet to find another place to inhabit. It's like a parasite. And there is a spell that happens during all this that can stop this from happening. Now, it does happen because there is the Advent Children movie. And I know I said I wouldn't go much into alternates and subplots, but if you watch Advent Children, you will notice that the world is more barren. Like outside of Midgar in the game, there is trees, there is grass, but in the movie, it's a barren wasteland. There is just dirt, rocks, and it's only key points where there is life. So, my theory is that the spell did sustain it from happening. And yes, the world is living, but it is dying. So, with all that being said, it's the point of my next connection. While doing my research, I have come across various points. There is the chaos connection between Vincent and his summoned chaos with the final boss of Final Fantasy 1. Its main villain is named Chaos, and they look the exact same. I also found that 8, yes, is, well, the next number, but it is also more run down and dystopian than it shows in the game. The world is run by a sorceress, and there's only like 4 or 5 places left in the world. Everything is pretty much open, barren. Um, and then there is also a connection with the 9 where the live stream shows back up. So I am going to leave it there. I'm not saying what my next connection is because I still have to do research on those 3 points just to see if any of them fall through. And if not, my next video will be a complete mystery. I might even do before 10 since, like I said, it is a timeline and we will get this connected. So until then, guys, I hope to see you all in the next video. And please don't kill me in the comments. Again, this is just my theory.